Let me start with something most people get completely wrong. You don't need to earn six figures to become financially secure. In fact, some of the most financially stable people I know don't have massive incomes. They're not making millions. They've just learned one skill that changes everything: how to manage and grow the money they already have. And that's the real difference. Because it's not about how much you make. It's about what you do with what you make. Now here's the problem. A lot of people feel stuck with money. They're earning, they're working hard, but somehow it still feels like nothing is improving. Money comes in, bills go out, and there's barely anything left. And after a while, it starts to feel overwhelming. So instead of fixing it, they avoid it. But what if you had a simple plan? Not something complicated. Not something that takes years to understand. Just a clear, step-by-step system you can follow month by month. That's exactly what I'm going to walk you through today. A 6-month plan designed to help you take control of your money, stop living paycheck to paycheck, and start building real, long-term wealth. This is the same approach that has helped a lot of people completely change their financial situation, not by earning more overnight, but by making smarter decisions consistently. And if you're new here, welcome. On this channel, we break down personal finance in a way that's simple, practical, and actually useful in real life, not confusing or overwhelming. Before we dive in, I want to know a little about you. Drop a comment below and tell me, how old are you? Where are you watching from? What do you do for a living? And honestly, how satisfied are you right now with your income and overall financial situation? No judgment, just real answers. Because the more honest you are about where you are, the easier it becomes to move forward. Let's begin with the most important step of this entire journey. Month 1. Face your finances. Own your numbers. Before you try to save more, invest, or even earn more, you need to do something most people avoid. You need to face your money honestly. Think about this for a second. Have you ever delayed checking your bank balance after spending a bit too much? Or ignored a payment notification because you just didn't feel ready to deal with it? This is very common. When money feels stressful or uncertain, the natural reaction is to avoid it. It gives a temporary sense of relief, like if you don't look at the problem, maybe it's not that serious. But in reality, the opposite happens. The longer you ignore your finances, the more pressure builds. Small overspending turns into bigger gaps. Missed tracking turns into confusion. And eventually, you reach a point where everything feels messy and out of control. That's why month 1 is not about fixing everything. It's simply about awareness and ownership. You are taking back control by understanding exactly what's happening with your money. You can understand this in 3 steps. Step 1. Understand your financial reality. At this stage, you don't need complex budgeting systems or financial knowledge. You just need clarity on a few key areas of your money. First, know your actual income. This is not your salary on paper, but the exact amount that lands in your bank account after all deductions. Second, identify your essential expenses. These are the costs you cannot avoid. Things like rent, electricity, groceries, and basic transportation. These expenses keep your life running. Third, look at your debt, if you have any. This includes credit cards, personal loans, or anything you owe. Many people avoid looking at this number, but seeing it clearly is the first step to reducing it. Fourth, understand your lifestyle spending. This is where most surprises happen. Eating out, online shopping, subscriptions, small daily spends. These may feel small individually, but together they can take up a large portion of your income. Finally, check your savings and investments. Even if the amount is small, it's important to know where you currently stand. When you bring all these numbers together, you get a clear picture of your financial life. Not what you think is happening, but what is actually happening. Step 2. Track your spending for 30 days. Once you understand your overall numbers, the next step is to observe your daily behavior. For the next 30 days, track every expense. This might sound simple, but it is one of the most powerful habits you can build. When you start tracking, you begin to notice patterns. You see where your money naturally flows without thinking. The goal here is not to restrict yourself or feel guilty. Spend normally. Just make sure you record everything. This creates awareness, and awareness automatically leads to better decisions over time. Step 3. Keep the system simple. One important thing to remember is that this process should feel easy enough to continue. If tracking your money feels complicated or time-consuming, you will stop doing it. That's why it's better to use a simple method, a basic app, a spreadsheet, or even writing it down in your phone notes. The tool doesn't matter. Consistency does. The easier you make this process, the more likely you are to stick with it. What you'll gain by the end of month 1. By the end of this month, you may not have more money yet, but you will have something more valuable. Clarity. You will know exactly how much you earn, where it goes, and what needs to change. That confusion and stress you used to feel? It starts getting replaced with control and confidence. And once you reach that point, every next step, saving, investing, growing, becomes much easier. Now I want you to take one small step. Think honestly and ask yourself, where do you feel your money is leaking the most right now? Write it down, or even better, comment it. Because the moment you start noticing, you've already begun changing your financial life. Month 2. Build your financial safety net, your first real cushion. Now that you've faced your numbers and understand exactly where your money is going, it's time for the next step. Month 2 is where things start to feel real, because this is the month you stop living completely exposed and start building protection. Your goal this month is simple but powerful. Save either $1,000 or 1 month of your essential expenses, whichever feels realistic but still challenging. So if your basic monthly costs, rent, groceries, utilities, transportation, add up to $2,500, then that becomes your target. And yes, at first, that number might feel uncomfortable. That's normal, because for most people, saving this amount isn't just a financial challenge, it's a mental one. Why saving feels so hard, and what most people get wrong. Here's something most people don't realize. Saving money isn't difficult because people can't do it. It's difficult because it feels like you're giving something up. Your brain is wired for immediate rewards. It wants comfort now, convenience now, enjoyment now. So when you try to save, it feels like you're losing something in the present. Skipping takeout feels like a sacrifice. Not buying something feels like missing out. But this is where you need to shift your perspective. You're not losing anything. You're buying something much bigger, peace of mind. You're buying the ability to handle unexpected situations without panic. You're buying space to breathe. The first thing you need is a clear number. Either $1,000 as a starter emergency fund, or 1 full month of essential expenses. There's no confusion here, no vague goal like save more money. You need a specific target that you're working toward, because clarity creates focus, and focus creates results. This is not about being perfect forever. This is about being intentional for a short period of time. For the next few weeks, treat this like a focused mission. Look at your current spending and ask yourself, what can I temporarily reduce without affecting my survival? That might include cutting unused or rarely used subscriptions, cooking more meals at home instead of ordering out, pausing non-essential purchases, being more mindful of small daily expenses. These are not permanent restrictions. They are short-term adjustments to help you build something important. Now, if saving this amount in 1 month feels too aggressive, it's okay to adjust. You can spread it across 2 or 3 months if needed. But this is important. Be honest with yourself. Don't stretch the timeline just to stay comfortable. Because the longer you delay building this safety net, the longer you stay vulnerable. The goal is not speed. The goal is momentum. But at the same time, you want to move forward with intention, not excuses. Now we move into month 3. And this is where your financial progress starts accelerating. Month 3. Eliminate high-interest debt and strengthen your safety net. Up until now, you've built awareness and started saving. But if you're carrying debt, especially high-interest debt, it's quietly working against you in the background. So this month has 2 clear priorities. First, eliminate high-interest debt. Second, continue building a stronger emergency fund. Now here's where most people get stuck. They try to save money and pay off debt at the same time, without a clear strategy. And the result? They feel like they're making effort, but not making real progress. The reason is simple. They treat all debt the same. But not all debt is equal. Some types of debt, like a mortgage or certain student loans, tend to have lower interest rates and longer-term benefits. But high-interest debt, like credit cards, personal loans, or buy now, pay later balances, is different. This is the kind of debt that grows fast and keeps you stuck. So instead of spreading your energy everywhere, you need to be strategic. Start by listing all your debts from highest interest rate to lowest. Then focus your extra money on the one with the highest rate first. This approach saves you the most money over time and gets you out of debt faster. Now, if you're someone who needs quick motivation, you can also choose to pay off the smallest balances first to build momentum. The method matters less than consistency. What matters most is that you pick a strategy and stick to it. Remember the work you did in month 1? You already calculated how much money you have left after covering your essential expenses. That number is powerful because that's the money you now assign a job. Instead of letting it disappear into random spending, you direct it intentionally toward debt. As much as possible, push that leftover amount toward your highest interest balance every month. This is how you start making visible progress. As your high-interest debt starts shrinking, or once it's cleared, your next move is to strengthen your safety net. Now your goal becomes building an emergency fund that can cover 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses. This is what creates real financial stability. If you have a stable job and predictable income, aiming for 3 months is a solid starting point. If your income is inconsistent or uncertain, it's safer to aim for closer to 6 months. This fund protects you from unexpected situations without forcing you back into debt. So where to keep your emergency fund? Your emergency fund should be easy to access when needed, but not so easy that you're tempted to spend it casually. That's why a high-yield savings account is usually the best option. It keeps your money separate, earns some interest, and stays available for real emergencies. Now, avoid this common mistake. One thing to be careful about: don't get stuck in the phase of just saving. Some people keep building cash endlessly because it feels safe. But real financial growth comes from balance. You build protection, and then you move forward. Now we move into month 4, and this is where your money finally starts working for you, not just sitting still. Month 4. Start investing while building your safety net. Up until now, you've been building awareness, creating a safety cushion, and taking control of your debt. But here's something important to understand. If you only save money and never invest it, you're limiting your financial growth, because saving protects your money, but investing is what actually grows it. And the biggest mistake most people make: they wait too long to start. They think they need a large amount, perfect timing, or expert knowledge. In reality, the earlier you start, even with small amounts, the more powerful the results become over time. Before you think about anything else, check if your job offers any kind of retirement contribution match. This is one of the simplest and most powerful opportunities available. If your employer matches your contributions, even partially, that's essentially free money added to your investment. For example, if you contribute $200 per month and your employer matches it, you instantly turn that into $400. That's an immediate return without any risk. Missing this step is like being offered free money and saying no. So your first move is simple. Contribute enough to get the full match. Where you invest matters just as much as what you invest in. Because the wrong account can quietly reduce your returns through taxes. That's why you want to use tax-advantaged accounts available in your country. If you're in the US, that could be something like a Roth IRA or a 401k. If you're in the UK, a stocks and shares ISA. Other countries have similar options designed to help you grow money more efficiently. These accounts allow your investments to grow with tax benefits, which makes a big difference over time. You keep more of what you earn, and that accelerates your progress. This is where a lot of beginners get stuck. They think they need to pick the perfect stocks, follow market news, or predict what will go up next. But even professionals struggle to consistently beat the market. So instead of trying to outsmart the system, you can simply own the system. That's where index funds and ETFs come in. These are investments that spread your money across hundreds or even thousands of companies at once. Instead of betting on one company, you're investing in the overall growth of the market. For example, funds that track major indexes have historically delivered steady long-term returns over time. The goal here is not quick wins. It's consistent, long-term growth. At this stage, you might still be building your emergency fund. And a lot of people think they have to choose between saving and investing. But you don't. You can do both, strategically. In the beginning, you might prioritize saving more heavily, then gradually shift your balance. For example, start with most of your extra money going toward your emergency fund, then slowly split it between saving and investing. And once your emergency fund is fully built, focus more on investing. This way, you're building security and growing wealth at the same time. Build consistency, not perfection. One of the most important habits you can build here is consistency. Investing is not about timing the market. It's about time in the market. Whether it's weekly or monthly, the key is to keep investing regularly. Over time, this creates a system that runs in the background, quietly building your future. Month 5. Increase your income. Unlock your earning potential. Now we move into month 5. And this is where things really start to scale. Up until now, you've been managing your money better. Saving, investing, reducing debt. But there's a limit to how much you can cut. At some point, the real growth comes from increasing how much you earn. Because here's the truth. You can only reduce your expenses so much. But your income? That has no fixed ceiling. The rule you need to remember: every job should give you at least one of two things. Either it helps you learn valuable skills, or it helps you earn good money. Ideally, you want both. But if your current situation is giving you neither, no growth, no meaningful income, then that's a signal, not to complain, but to change direction. Because staying stuck in the same place, hoping things will improve on their own, rarely works. Step 1. Increase your primary income. The first place to look is your main job. Ask yourself honestly, are you being paid what you're worth? If not, you have two options. You can try to grow where you are by negotiating a raise, taking on more responsibility, or building skills that make you more valuable. Or you can explore better opportunities elsewhere. In many cases, switching jobs is one of the fastest ways to increase your income. Companies often pay more to hire talent than to retain it. So sometimes the biggest jump doesn't come from working harder where you are. It comes from moving to where you're valued more. Step 2. Build an additional income stream. Now, if you want to move faster, don't rely on just one source of income. This is where side income comes in. And the good news, you don't need to start a big business. You just need to start small and practical. You can offer a skill like writing, editing, or design. Do freelancing or consulting work. Teach something you already know. Manage social media for small businesses. Or even monetize a hobby. We live in a time where learning and earning opportunities are more accessible than ever. You can literally learn a skill online and start earning from it within weeks if you stay consistent. Step 3. Focus on skills that actually pay. If you're not sure where to start, focus on learning skills that solve real problems. Skills like communication, Sales, digital marketing, content creation, or even basic tech skills are always in demand. Because businesses and people are always willing to pay for solutions. And today, you don't need expensive courses to start. You can learn from free resources, practice consistently, and improve over time. The key is not to learn everything, but to get really good at one thing that people are willing to pay for. What changes in month 5? This is where your mindset shifts again. You stop thinking only about managing money and start thinking about creating more of it. You realize you're not limited to one paycheck. You have the ability to increase your earning power. And once that clicks, everything starts moving faster. Your savings, your investments, your financial freedom. Month 6. Automate and optimize. Make money management effortless. Now we've reached month 6, and this is where everything comes together. Because up until now, you've been putting in effort, tracking your money, saving consistently, paying off debt, starting to invest. But here's the problem. If your system depends on motivation or daily decisions, it won't last. And that's not your fault. It's because of something called decision fatigue. Every single day, you're making hundreds of decisions, big and small. And by the end of the day, your mental energy is drained. So what happens? You default to what's easiest. You delay checking your finances. You skip a transfer. You spend without thinking. Not because you don't care, but because your brain is tired. And that's exactly why automation is so powerful. Because it removes the need to decide. The goal here is simple. Make your finances run on autopilot. So even when life gets busy, your progress continues in the background. Start with your fixed expenses. Set up automatic payments for things like rent or mortgage, utilities, insurance, and any debt repayments. This ensures everything is paid on time, avoids late fees, and protects your credit score. Next, automate your savings and investments. Set up recurring transfers that move money into your savings account, investment accounts, or retirement funds. This is where a powerful mindset shift happens. Instead of saving whatever is left at the end of the month, you save first. You treat your future self like a priority, not an afterthought. One simple trick that makes a big difference is separating your spending money. Keep your essentials, savings, and investments automated, and use a separate account or card for daily spending and fun money. This makes budgeting almost effortless, because when that account runs low, it's a clear signal. No need to track every detail or overthink every purchase. The system creates natural boundaries for you. Now here's something important. Your financial plan is not something you set once and forget. Your life will change. Your income might increase. Your expenses might shift. Your goals will evolve. So every few months, take some time to review your system. Ask yourself, is my current setup still aligned with where I want to go? Can I increase how much I'm saving or investing? Am I using my money in a way that reflects my priorities? This keeps your plan flexible and relevant. At this point, you've built something most people never do. You've gone from avoiding your finances to understanding them, from reacting to having a system, from feeling stuck to actually moving forward. But here's the truth. This isn't the finish line. This is just the beginning. One of the most powerful habits you can build from here is simple. Don't stay at the same level. As your income grows, as your confidence improves, you gradually raise your standards. Maybe you start by saving or investing $100 a month. Then you push it to $150, then $200, then higher. Not all at once, but step by step. Because real progress doesn't come from one big decision. It comes from small improvements, repeated consistently. And over time, those small increases create massive results. If this is the moment where you decide to take control of your finances, don't let it stop here. Take one action today. Set up your first investment, automate your savings, or commit to increasing your income. And if you want simple, practical guidance like this, without the confusion or overwhelm, make sure you subscribe. Because every week, I break down how to manage, grow, and take control of your money in a way that actually makes sense. Because at the end of the day, your future isn't built by luck. It's built by the small decisions you start making today.